Cartier City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
Don't lose it, don't give it away, don't let anyone take it either without looking into things first. So when it comes to question time, one question please at a time, not multiple ones, and time permitting you can always have another go. Right, Ron, it's all yours. So, into the microphone.
Now we're flying. Okay. Right, good morning everyone. I'll introduce myself officially. It's Ron Cartey. Some of you know me. Actually, it was interesting because before it all started, I looked around and I recognised a lot of people in the room, which was both good and worrying, because some of the things I'm going to cover, some of you have heard before. However, because it's to do with money, there's nothing wrong with going over things time and time again. So just bear with me, is that all right? But bit by bit, I'll introduce myself now. Okay. Now I've got to get used to looking up here and looking around there. All right, so look, we're going to look briefly about the pitfalls involved in money. Now let me just clarify initially, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an insurance agent or anything like that. I'm an individual the same as everybody here that really gets sucked in occasionally to the odd dodgy scheme, really likes to hang on to the money, and really I'm sharing things that have happened to me over the last few years. So we'll go along as it seems. Now look, those who know me will know that I'm governed by two things. First off is this, that what you don't use, you lose. All right, I'm going to explain in a moment what that applies to, but the second thing is this, right? You've got to listen to the professionals. Now, when I say listen to professionals, I don't mean that you have to use professionals all the time, but professionals have got a lot of experience. They've also know the highs and the lows. They've gone through all the pitfalls. So I've learned in my own lifetime, number one, you've got to keep on the go, and I'm going to talk about that again in a moment. But two, it's important to listen to professionals. Let me clarify, I'm not a professional. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just sharing my own thoughts on all this. But I found in the past that the more you listen to professionals, you can find out the mistakes they've made as well, and you can learn from that. So that's really it. But look, these two things apply to these, and some of you will recognize this slide. But what you don't use, you lose, applies to two things, both health and wealth. And I know we're focusing on money this time, but at the end of the day, these two are interlinked. You see, if you don't look after your body, it's no good having accumulated wealth over the years that we've been working, and that your body, you're not able to enjoy what you've accumulated. Likewise, it's no good having good health. All right, I've got to thank you for that. All right, I've got my. I keep sagging. All right, so these two are connected. So my message to everybody, from a personal point of view, is look after both things. Right? I know we're talking about wealth or money, but you can't ignore your personal health. I'm not a fitness fanatic, but those of you who know me know that I also really recommend looking after our bodies. What is it they say? A slow walk is better than a no walk. And a lot of, so I look around, we're all about the same age. Sometimes it's very easy to forget our bodies. But anyway, that's where we are. So let's have a look. Okay, my story very quickly. I retired about 10 or 11 years ago. I think my story probably the same as a lot of people. I built a house up in the village and I retired. And all my life I'd had visions of, I don't know, just a country life. I come from London, you can probably tell. I'm a city boy. And I thought, wonderful, I got a rice farm, a cassava farm, a house, and it nearly killed me. I found myself sitting down doing bugger all the time, right? No disrespect to the Thais or my Thai family. When you're out in the village, a lot of the times you're just there. You're there. You don't really get included. I found that if we get a guest in England, we're a little bit more inclusive. We say, look, and they don't understand the language properly. We tend to say, look, this is what we're talking, and we're more inclusive. Out in the village, I felt I was on my own. And so I also started to look at things and get off the couch. And so I decided to get off the couch, activate myself. And some of you know this story. I started to play racquetball. All right? I started to exercise more. All right? But that still wasn't enough. And so what I also did, I revitalized my business skills. What does it say there? Embrace the entrepreneur within you. And I've been active all my life. Okay? And to suddenly stop striving for things, to stop trying to achieve, really affected me. So that's what I did. But then also, going to put this up, you've also got to be willing to embrace life's storms. And I'm going to relate this again in a moment, but it's not all smooth running. Look, if I went around and spoke to everybody here about your stories, your personal history, there will be ups, there's downs. It's never all the way up. So you've got to embrace life's storms. And I found that by taking up sports, I paid the price. My body was not the same body that I used to have a long time ago. And some of you know when I spoke about it, and I shared my stories and the videos of me taking racquetball, it nearly killed me. But there's no pain without gain. I remember, I should have put it on the thing. I've got this video, only quickly, I'm going sideways, but when I hurt my neck, I went to all the sports practitioners and this, and somebody, a Thai person, said to me, there's a magic Thai man in Pattaya that they blow on you, cast a spell, and all is well. And I found this man. Right now, bear in mind, I'd been strapped up. And I go there, and he blew on me. And he cast a spell, and then he nearly killed me. I've got a video of me hanging from a bit of rope, screaming. All right, but anyway, that's an aside. Okay. So anyway, you've got to, but also in terms of business, this is why I brought it up. Right, you've got to embrace life's storms. So when I went back into business, I started to experience up and downs. Maybe 6 years ago, some of you know, I got introduced to the world of cryptocurrency. All right, and like everybody else, I moved into it, and it wasn't all that it promised. I got hit by various scams that I got involved in. A lot of what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so there's all ups and downs. So part of my talk is really just recognizing when there is dangers ahead. All right, so how are we doing? So what to do with money? There's 4 things. Number 1, right, we can spend it. All right, and I know some people are reluctant to spend, all right, but we can spend the money, all right? The second thing we can do is save it. And I find a lot of people, as they get older, are very concerned about what they've got in the bank in terms of savings. The third one is we can give it away. Part of what you were talking about there is donate, give back. I came across a phrase a few months ago that as you I've forgotten it, bloody hell, but it was, as you move up, you look down. Right? As you expand, you help other people below you, and that's part of what it is. And so part of what we've gathered, that's what I like about the Thai culture. There's a lot of giving, and then finally, you can invest. Now, they're the 4 things that we can do with money. We're going to be talking during this next 4 hours. That was English joke. All right, thank you for laughing. All right, we're going to talk about investing. And look, just read that. What does that say? If your money is not plugged in, you are not in the game. Right? Money has this uncanny habit of disappearing, no matter how much you look after it. The next one also, if you're not growing it, your money is shrinking. And a lot of people we know are having troubles in terms of inflation. I'm going to go over all of this. So look, the need to invest. Number 1 is cut for inflation. I remember when I first came to Asia some, 20 years ago. I went to Malaysia. I know the exchange rate then, I was getting about 10 Malaysian ringgit to the pound. I think currently it's about 5 Malaysian ringgits to the pound. All right? So inflation will eat away your money. We've got the cost of living. See, we've got to go out every day and eat. We've got to live. So money goes on our cost of living. The next one is what? Unexpected events. How many of us have experienced an illness that's come out of the blue where it's cost us money? Unexpected events, family events. I mean, as a universal traveller, I am proud to say that I have family all around the world. All right? And they tend to have lots of unexpected events that I have to fund. all right? And I'm constantly going to Western Union and funding these so-called unexpected events. They hit us when we're not expecting it. And then finally, we've got stress-free retirement. That really is what everybody is striving for. But if you've got pulls on your money all the time, and you've got to worry about funding, then all of a sudden stress causes problems. So they're the 4 reasons. Now, what are we doing now? So let's have a look. Different types of money. First off, can I ask a question? Hear me okay still? Are you finding this useful? I haven't got to the meaty part yet. Okay, thank you. Very good. All right. Now, different types of money. Now, but I've got to keep looking. It's very difficult. I've got to keep looking. I might sit down there and talk. It's easier. I can read it as well. Right. First off, you've got living money. Normal day-to-day living that we have to exist. All right. The second one, we've got lifestyle. These are 2 different things. Right. Lifestyle money is where you can just spend a little bit more. Go to a different restaurant, a higher class restaurant than maybe eating on the street to live. All of these, we've got all these, these current offers, these travel offers. So you've got all around. Right? That's extra money, that's lifestyle money. Then you've got money for retirement. And then finally, you've got what is known as speculative funds. This is the money that if you are considering investing in growing, in expanding your wealth, that's the funds that you've got to look at. So speculative wealth. So let's have a look. The problem with this is scams. Now, I don't know how many of you have been affected by phone calls. I'm going to show you later on what I get daily with people offering me opportunities. Because I've been involved now in the last 6 or 7 years in cryptocurrency, foreign exchange trading, investments, I get bombarded daily by these offers. But we've got to be careful saying, what does that say? Right? There's a danger always of falling in traps. And I'm going to say now, I'll give some examples. Even with my wisdom that I've gathered over the years, I'm going to show you some of the mistakes I've made in the last 5 years, where all of a sudden you get sucked in. So my message really is just be careful. Don't get involved, just be careful. All right? So look at this. How many of us get, because I don't know the people here, I don't know what circles you move in. I don't know what you're constantly getting on your phone, what messages you get on your phone. But how many of us get opportunities where they promise a daily return, a monthly rate of return, guarantees, right? I get hit with them all the time, all right? Another one. Look at just read that. The allure of overnight riches is a tantalizing proposition for anybody. And this is that can foster an impulsive motivation. And that's the bit I want to talk about. Okay? With all of my wisdom, with all of my knowledge, I remember 4 years ago sitting in Hong Kong with a client who just paid me for some consulting I'd done. So I had $10,000 cash in my pocket. And I'm Mr. Know-it-all. I'm the smart man. I'm the consultant. And by accident, or I don't know whether by design, I bump into another colleague of mine. We're in the hotel having breakfast, and he appears. And he starts to talk about this new venture that he's involved in. And just shorten it, put $5,000 in, and you get daily returns. Daily returns. This is in the Bitcoin era, all right? Every day you get this, you get this. He shows me his phone, shows me his laptop. And for the first time ever in all my years, I've got money, cash in my pocket. If I'd have put it in my bank, I wouldn't have got involved. I've got cash here. I've got this sparkling object in front of me. And somehow my hand goes into my pocket, secretly counts out $5,000 and says, what happens if I get involved now? You know, what? Well, his eyes lit up. He says, well, that's funny. You should say that because blah, 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 blah. And somehow while he's talking, my hand comes out with $5,000, hands it across the table to him, $5,000 gone. Instant. Does he stop talking? No. He says, of course, if you get 3 positions, how many of us have heard this before? If you get 3 positions, not only do you get a return on your money, but you're getting a return on your positions below you. And he shows me this. He shows me that. I've still got $5,000 in my pocket. This is a true story. And 2,500 here, 2,500. It's almost like he knew what I'd been. And to this day, I still don't know, because my client was also a joint friend. So I don't know whether I've been set up. I'd be true. I haven't got a clue. And so within the next half an hour of coffees and smiling and laughing and joking and somehow this second $5,000 found its way into his hand, and I'm $10,000 short. Gone. Now, I have to say, I didn't actually lose money, gratefully, nor did I make money, because by the time, and the daily returns, it starts coming in. Then all of a sudden I get a note that to carry on, administration fees are this. To access your back office is going to cost you more. And within 3 months, the whole lot shut down. Gone. To this day, I don't know where it's gone. Now, luckily, I broke about even. Right? But that's luck. Pure luck. So what I'm saying, it's so easy to be carried away by this impulsive motivation. My strong recommendation, I'm going to go over it later on as well. Before you jump, just take. It's like sending an email to somebody. It's like replying to a shitty. It's like replying to an abusive email you've got. You know, if you reply straight away, you're in trouble. Just give it some thought and whatever. And so, be careful of impulsive information. What have we got now? Some red flags. Fixed returns. Right? There is no such thing as fixed returns, from my experience. So these are red flags to look out for. If somebody says, look, get involved, you've got a fixed return, right? Every investment carries this degree of risks. Another red flag. Send money now. Pay now. Get involved now. Otherwise, the opportunity has gone. That's what happened to me. Pay now. You don't have to, Ron. Of course you don't. You can give me a call next week when I get back to my castle in the sky. Right? But if you come on board now, I can actually sucked in. Idiot. And that's the way. So be careful of once in the time offers. It will be gone tomorrow. Right? This is what happens with all. I mean, for a long time ago, I trained a lot of the boiler rooms, right, in telesales. Right? You'll be surprised. Professional people that just get sucked in by the promise of all this on a telephone call, right? So what else have we got here? Red flag. Flowery language. Look at this lot. Incredible gains, breakout stock, huge upside. That's what I wanted to show you here. I got this morning. Huh. Look, I can't show you, but look, waxing lyrical about the latest thing, all these lovely words. And now, I'm very careful. Too much, what's the word? I'm not quite sure, but look, claims like this are the hallmarks of extreme risk or outright fraud. Now, I don't think I've covered anything that nobody here knows already. But the danger is sometimes we get caught off guard. That's my real message today. Just be careful all the time. Not don't get involved, just be careful when we get involved. Well, what else we got here? Red flag number, the plan. The plan. The plan works. All you have to do is come in here, then the plan generates you money. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything. Other people come underneath you, and so you get involved. Right? And then all you do is you upgrade as necessary. Right? So these are red flags. Now, the general rule of thumb, just read it. It's almost impossible to generate consistent profits. So now I'm very wary. When somebody guarantees me anything, guaranteed returns, guaranteed profits, that to me is a red flag. All right? Look at this. Now, unless a product or service is sold to generate revenue within the company, it really is just a Ponzi scheme. Money is paid out purely from recruitment. And so once the recruitment slows down, as they inevitably do, then all of a sudden the returns stop and then the company disappears. So fixed returns. Here's a typical thing. Let me stand over here. I can't see the blooming thing. Okay? There's a Ponzi scheme. Right? And this is what happens. The first person comes in, brings somebody else in. I think we've all know about this. All right? The investors pay the returns. It goes all the way down the line, and eventually the whole lot stops. When the recruitment starts, see, there's no product, there's no service. It's just people recruiting people, paying it. And again, I can't stop saying, I know this is, we all know this. But just be careful when a close friend calls you up with a story, with his story. Just be careful about getting involved. I'm not saying don't get involved, because there's lots of good businesses around. All I'm saying is take your time. Be careful. All right? So, look, if you look, and I'm sure we all know this, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. All right? There's another saying. The best thing to do when you hear of claims of fixed return, run. Right? Now, don't necessarily run away. Run away from the person and investigate more. So I'm not saying lose opportunities. I'm just saying check out these opportunities. All right? Look at this. Resist the pressure to act quickly. I'm flicking through. Look. Now, this is what I'm saying. Right? There's nothing wrong with getting involved, provided you work through the right people. Right? Investment advisors. And look, this is, you know my colleague Dan, right? He always waves, he's everywhere. He causes me so many problems, Dan does, but anyway, all right? But this is it. This is the rule of thumb. Only use learning money. Only use money that you can afford to lose. Don't put in your living money. Don't put in your luxury money. Don't put in your family money. Put in money with a view that if it loses, then you're not going to suffer. Right? So only use money that you can live without. Now, the good news is this. Look at it. And this again is me. Because of the things that I suffered early on when I resurrected my business career 10 years ago, because of all the pain of getting involved quick and losing money, right, I learned how to get involved properly. And so my recommendation is, once people learn, take the time to understand how to get involved, you can actually earn money in all of these markets. You can earn money in the Forex market. You can earn money in the crypto market. You can earn money in stocks and shares, anything, commodities, provided you know what you're doing or how to do it. All right? So, look at trading knowledge. So where we go? Hang on. Now, this I covered at the beginning of the year in another talk I did. You see, although I'm saying be careful, it's important to keep looking. Seeking opportunities keeps you alive. What I found is this, and I'm talking about me now. As a consultant, I do a lot of talking, I do a lot of coaching, I do a lot of training, even to this day. But I only talk about what I do. I can't talk about what other people do. And all I know is this. When I go looking for opportunities, it keeps my brain active. Remember, what you don't use, you lose. So one of the ways I keep my brain active is always looking at ways for business. One, as a consultant, but two, for my money. Because remember, what you don't use, you lose. If my money is not in the game, it's going to disappear. If I just let it sit there, bit by bit, inflation, all the things I've spoke about, my little pot of gold that I've worked hard for 30, 40 years for is gradually disappearing. So I know as my family are growing up, right, there's more costs. Costs never disappear. So unless I find out more, I run the risk of losing my little pile. So I keep looking, and it keeps my brain alive. It also keeps my body alive because I travel, I meet people, I go around. So, but more importantly, this one, I discover opportunities that I never knew existed. How I got involved in crypto. Somebody mentioned the word crypto. I hadn't heard of it 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't remember how many years ago. My memory is going. It's true. But I meet so many people now that say, oh, crypto. And the door's shut. I've got my brother, I've said for years, get a Bitcoin. It won't go in. It won't go in. He won't even open his mind to look. That's something I don't understand. I understand not getting involved. I don't understand not exploring. Because the more you explore, someday you're going to find something that pops up that suits you. It might not be cryptocurrency. It might not be Forex. It might be something else. And I'm going to talk about this. Right? Have an open mind. Look at this. A closed door leads nowhere. And so we've got our little comfort zones around us, and that's fine. But open the door. You never know what's around. And look, and this is something I mentioned on the talk a little while ago. I mentioned when I was brought up, I was told money doesn't grow on trees. And then in my search, I come across with this link. And I can give you all these links later on. Or look at this. And the bit that got me, because I'm crypto savvy now, it says there, forget Bitcoin, planting trees can offer amazing returns. So I explored more. See, if you don't explore, if you just cut off, you'll never open a doorway. And so I started to explore this. Look, money does grow on trees. There are businesses. Look at this. Planting trees is one of the biggest stories over the next 20 years. There's a link there to greenbiz.com, whoever they are. I looked at that more. This is what I found. Look at this. Arglewood, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it properly. Arglewood, the most valuable wood in the world. I never realized wood was valuable. I know when I built my farm, I got trees there. They buggers keep coming and cutting them down. I know they make some money, but I don't know they're that valuable. And then look at this. This is what I found. See, I found this interesting. Arglewood belongs to the, however you pronounce that family, native to Southeast Asia. But look at this. Indonesia, Thailand. I live in Thailand. I don't know that. One of the most valuable trees in the world are being grown in Thailand, where I now live. So I explored more. What is it? Why is it so expensive? Interesting. Look, there's not enough supply to meet the demand. Now, from my business experience, I'm sure all of us know, supply and demand governs price. Is that right? And costs. And so look at this. It's more expensive than gold. Who would have thought that? I didn't. I'm exploring. I don't know where it's leading, but I'm exploring. Arglewood, this raises demand, and then all of a sudden produces oud oil. I'd never heard of oud oil before. What the bloody hell's oud oil? Right, so I start to look at it. See, it's like opening a door. I've got no idea where it's going, but there's a door opening. Right? Look at it. Only 20% of oud oil needs are met. Supply and demand. Which means there's a value there. Right? Okay? It's in the fragrance industry. Just read it. Look, you can read it. Right? The demand for oud oil is incredible. So there's this whole industry that I never even knew about in Thailand in my doorstep. So now I go further. I find this company, Plantations International, in Sriracha. Where are we? Padia. It's in Sriracha, so now I'm looking. Okay? Download the process. And you can look, there's the link, just go onto it. I recommend anybody have a look. You never know whether it suits you. So now I filled out the prospect. I've got a plantation ownership opportunity. There's a whole thing there. If I hadn't have looked, all of this passed by. Now, whether I get involved in this or not is irrelevant. Whether anybody here gets involved in it is irrelevant. This is what's available if you open your eyes and look around to see what's happening. So, have an open mind. If somebody comes up to you with something, be wary, but don't necessarily shut the door. You never know. And likewise, Bitcoin, as you know, Bitcoin's now getting up to 20,000. And I've got to say, hands up, I've done okay out of cryptocurrency. I'm not a techie. Those of you that know Dan is the technical man. I'm the dummy. But I know if a dummy like me can make gains in cryptocurrency, I say to everybody, some of you in the room, I've said it before, I recommend everybody go and buy a bit of Bitcoin with some speculative funds, right? And Forget about it. Buy 100. A lot of people think you've got to buy, what's Bitcoin now? $19,000. Is that right, for one Bitcoin? A lot of people think you've got to buy Bitcoin for 19,000. You don't. You can buy $1,000 worth. You can buy $100 worth. Leave it there. Forget about it. Have a look at it in 5 years' time. Who knows? It might be worth 100,000. You might have lost $100. So what? But I say to everybody, get involved. If you're not in the game, your money's losing. So don't have a close eye. So anyway, let's have a look. How's it going? Okay. I've got no idea on the time. How am I doing on time? Fine. That's a good sign, because if it said you've got 2 minutes left, I know it's going like crap. Okay, forgive me. Okay. So anyway, so this is the financial pyramid, right? I'll keep moving backwards and forwards. So these are the stages of money. Okay. So you've got health insurance for disability, life, etc. And this covers protection, individual protection. The next one you've got is regular savings. This is how you start to accumulate some savings and some wealth. Regular savings, money market savings, bonds. A lot of us in the room, no doubt in my mind, have got all of these. All right? Then we've got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate. This is for greater wealth generation. And right at the top, you've got futures, currencies, and commodities. Now, this is speculative wealth. And look, the risk grows, but so do the returns. So they're the different levels of increased potential risk, but increased potential rewards as well. All right? So let's have a look. So let's say now we want to get involved in investments. Okay, how do we do it? 3 ways. Number one, we can start to look at the markets ourselves, whatever market, and we can get involved through our own efforts. Secondly, we can get involved with somebody who I like to recall as an enthusiastic amateur. There's a lot of people that are slightly more skilled than us in the room, not professionals, that play the markets, play the game. Right? And I'll talk about this in a moment. And then, of course, we've got the competent professionals. So they are the 3 ways of getting involved in the money markets. Right? So let's have a look at the pitfalls or the gains, or which one you choose. So let's have a look. Now, own efforts, the average person tries to make money in the money market. The key word there is tries. The enthusiastic amateur, I've got to come over here, I'm going to break my neck. Right? I've still got this dodgy neck from racquetball 2 years ago, but anyway, right? Enthusiastic amateurs can make money in strong markets. Right? Professionals make money in all markets. There's a difference. Right? And I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to go back to this enthusiastic amateurs in a moment with a good friend of mine that got involved with an enthusiastic amateur. All right, and then I'll talk about it now in the UK. Right, they got involved in, I'm not even quite sure what schemes it was or which money made, but they found this enthusiastic amateur that traded. They got involved with him, and in the end, about 400 people got involved. All right, and currently they're trying to find out what happened to the 20 million sterling that got invested in over a year's period. They're trying to find out what's happened to it. It's enthusiastic amateur. Nobody knows what's gone on. So we've got to be careful on all of these things. So let's say now we want to look after ourselves. These are the benefits of managing our own portfolio. Number one, we're in control. We're in control of our money, right? We know what the safety rules are for our investment regime, and there's security. But really, this is wishful thinking. See, the average person is going to struggle to manage their own portfolio, in my opinion. Let me explain why. Look, this is the reality check. These are all the things that affect people when they get involved with managing their own money. Look at this. Time availability. See, the markets are 24 hours. Some markets are 24 hours. You go to sleep, you can wake up with a massive loss unless you stick your eyes on the screen all the time. Time availability. Technical aptitude. I've known people try to get involved in the markets. They can't even work their smartphone. Right? Can't even open up WhatsApp properly or go from one to the other. How on earth are you going to manage your own portfolio if you don't have the technical ability to do that? All right? Market knowledge. Emotional attachment. This is the biggest challenge in personal investments. We're attached to our money. We cash out at the wrong time. I mean, I've got to keep referring to Dan, but Dan says the best time to get rid of Bitcoin is when? when I get involved. Because every time I buy Bitcoin, it goes down. All right? So that's, and then I always sell at the wrong time. I buy at the right time. But anyway, but this is called hopers are dopers. In the trade, individuals that have a crack themselves are referred to as hopers, and hopers are dopers. All right? And look at this. Go on the internet. This is what they say you need to be a successful trader as an individual. Look at this. These are the traits, the characteristics, the attributes that people say. I've searched all this. Look at what you need. The list is endless. 6 traits, 8 traits, top 5 traits. Here we go. These are the psychologies, the programs. Look, trading psychology, the score method, mental errors, weird trading. It's not easy to make money trading yourself. It's possible, but it's not easy. So to combat I'm controlling my own money, you've got all of these other challenges. The second one is enthusiastic amateur. They make it sound easy. They're cheaper to deal with than a professional, right? And they talk a good fight. And as I said, my good friend of 40 years bumped into this young buck in England that was doing trading, had good results. See, the markets were on the go. Right? Got sucked in, and say 400 people got involved in this. Right? Then it crashed. People still don't know what happened to everything. Some people had a little draw, and it only came to light last Christmas or the Christmas before. I'm trying to think. When people wanted to start to draw, right? See, every day they would get the spreadsheets and the returns. No money, right? Because he was playing a game, right? So people, I've got one friend that had in theory, $2 million in there. So come Christmas 2 years ago, everybody thought they'd take a draw for Chrissy time. No money. The bank had shut the accounts. They got some out. Everything got all up. Dealing with an amateur, right? Look at this. Reality check, right? It takes a professional can make money at every stage. Amateurs are good when the markets are good, all right? So frequent trading often results in negative returns. And then, of course, you've got the competent professional. Now, the greatest asset of dealing with a professional is they are unattached to our money. We look at our money, it's ours. So fear takes over, or greed takes over. It's ours. We hang on to it too long. We cash out too soon because it's our money. Professional isn't interested. Professional looks at the percentages, right, and they trade accordingly, right? And this is the phrase bank versus tank. When you use a professional, one that suits you, that you're confident, but the rules are still, right? You've got to have their expertise, but make sure you control your money. Don't hand your wealth over to a professional where they control the funds, because these professionals still have an uncanny knack of disappearing at the wrong time. So the rule is you hang on to your money for safety and security, and then you're on the right track. So that's really what we're talking about, right? In summary, what you don't use, you lose. Go back to health. If you don't look after your body, bit by bit, your body will slow down, and you won't be able to enjoy this wonderful life we're fortunate having here in Thailand. But more importantly, if you don't use your money, it will disappear. It will grow. So my recommendation is get involved, listen to the professionals, find out what they do, and then enjoy whatever wealth you generate. Okay, so at that, I think I have finished. Give me a clap. One more slide there, I forgot. Never too old to learn, never too old to earn. Right? Take that away with you. If there's one message, take that away today. Right? You're never too old to learn, never too old to earn. Get back in the market. At that, I'm done. One more clap. Go on, give me another one, bloody hell. Okay. Any questions? No questions. One question here. Now be gentle with your questions. Well, remember, okay, go on, fire away.
It's not really a question, it's a comment. This is a timely topic for me. I had my identity stolen last Wednesday. And so I had a storage unit broken into, and they took all my personal information, bank statements, will,
Whoa.
you name it, they've got it. And with that information, they were able to port over my phone to their phone
Oh.
and access my email.
Mm.
So I'm only out $150 right now. But I wanted to make a comment about Yahoo Mail. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. The security is so bad on there.
Yeah.
I've had that account since 1998, and he had 4 days. He never changed the password, but he actually just mined information. And if I could recommend everybody go in, delete all their trash and all their sent mail
Excellent.
when you get out of here, because all that's saved. I had over 1,000 emails in the sent mail file, and he probably mined all that.
Interesting.
So the other thing is, once my phone, I was on the phone when it was ported out. I actually called my number, and the guy answered. And and I asked him, how did you get this number? And then he said, how did you get so much money? And he gave me the amount in my Fidelity investment account. How did you get all that money? And then I hung up. It was in America. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the police actually, so he's written 6 checks, but he's got my whole checkbook.
Oh.
The police actually know who it is, because this guy's done this before. But they can't, the only way they can prove it is to get him on video cashing the check. They know the bank, and they've subpoenaed the video.
Mm.
But the detective said it's not probably going to work because he's wearing a mask now because of COVID.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that. Now, another word of warning.
And just one more comment. I think I've got everything fixed except for the IRS. The IRS doesn't believe who I am because I can't validate my identity with a text message from the stolen phone.
Mm. Oh,
So that's just all I have.
thank you for
And
that.
if anybody wants to ask questions about other things about this, I'll be available later.
Good. Ask questions of him. That's the way. That's the question, mate. Any more questions?
I thought there'd be loads of questions all about money. Come on.
There's one there. One
Has
there.
nobody got any money? Oh. I've got a Billy Bank somewhere.
So you think the email I got, and I just sent $100,000 to buy this gold mine in Nigeria, is going to be a problem? Woodland, joking.
One at the back.
Actually, thanks for that joke, Darryl, because that reminded me of something that happened. I know this woman who I'm trying to get to give a talk at the club. She's Thai, and she had actually sent money to a Nigerian scam from Thailand. This is only a few months ago, and the guy's saying to her, I want to send the money to you, but I need you to send so much money so I can send the money to. So he's trying to go back to the well, and fortunately she contacted me, and I said, don't send him any more money, right? And so she said, oh, my brother's going to kill me. So, this is a thing there where Thais are getting scammed by Nigerians and stuff. One thing, I went through an identity thing recently, just because my phone crashed, and Authenticator, the Google program, went with it. And what they did to make sure it actually was me is I had to hold up my passport next to my face, and that was on a video call so that they could see live that I and the passport were one. So that's something the IRS should do, or maybe you can even mention to them. Excellent talk, thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. This is Superman. Be gentle with me.
Absolutely. I think investment professionals are now going to be in so much more demand. What you see now, and you being a fellow Brit, you've seen interest rates from like NS&I completely crash, from like even a pitfall 1.16% to 0.01%. So it's pushing people who have been prudent with savings over a number of years to have a good retirement, which is what the governments have always pushed you to do, to now go into more riskier investments to get a return, because saving rates are adrift from inflation by probably the biggest percentage amount for more than a generation. So it is getting tougher, but people will have to invest out into riskier to get something back. And that is a complete worry, because most of us are at an age where if we lost a chunk of money, we have no way of replacing that. And that is a real danger.
No, I agree 100%. That's why I say, spread it around a little bit. I agree with you in terms of the low. I mean, if I go back to the Argawood, an average 19% return on your money. That's better. I like that. But there's a risk with everything. You just got to manage your money a little bit better. But I agree. I think everybody should go into, I nearly call them schemes, different avenues of investment, not just the normal ones. Getting 1%, 2%, 3% is waste of time. Inflation's more than that. So I agree with you. You've got to explore. Just remember, explore when you're comfortable. Have a go at the level you're comfortable with. Right? Don't whack it all into one thing. Right.
Does anybody remember Bernie Cornfield?
Yes.
Yes, I was sucked in, invited loads of friends, and it was a monthly payment in, and all well, 5 years was the project, and you were going to get X thousands of pounds, and what happened to Bernie? What happened to the money? I'm going back a few years, as you remember. I think he walked away with about 120 million and living a lifestyle out in the Bahamas. They nailed him. They sent him to prison for 5 years. He paid very little back. And he's living now on a nice yacht in the Canary Islands. Who said, thieving is not a good idea? A load of rubbish. And I lost a lot of friends from there, by the way, because I talked them into investing and lost it.
No, I agree, but let me just clarify, but don't let it put you off, right? Get involved, be cautious. If you just say no and you shut down, so I agree, there are dodgy deals around, but there's also a lot of good ones, so just be cautious. Don't shut the door. Keep looking. That's what I do. And I can only talk about what I do. I keep looking. I'll bump into something that I like. I'll have a go at a certain level I'm comfortable with the knowledge that if it doesn't work, that was my speculative money. It won't hurt as much as my living money. Yes, far away.
Yeah, thanks very much. Very interesting. This is actually a question for Dan, I think, about Bitcoin. And I read about it. I don't know as much as Dan does, but I'm sure everybody's read a bit about it. So there's something like 21 million Bitcoins, and that's the maximum. And they're on 18 million Bitcoins at the moment. 18 and a half. So what I read is the reason it suddenly shot up, and I happened to be lucky because I put a bit in a couple of months ago, and it's gone up about 70%, is because they can only now mine so many Bitcoins a day. Or so. It's gone down from 25% to 12.5% of the last 3 million Bitcoin, something like that. This is what I'm asking you. Is that correct? Yeah, I did read you can buy Bitcoin through PayPal. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. Sorry. The one other question while we're just on Bitcoin, and yeah. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
I
wrap
think
it up.
what Dan was saying, the Bitcoin is scheduled to go up to about 25,000. I think this is the concept. Then the big boys are going to get in, crash it right the way down again, fire everything up and go. And then it will zoom up again. So that's really what's happening with Bitcoin at the moment. Again, my recommendation to everybody, get some Bitcoin. Good example there, got involved a couple of months ago. Right, it's gone up, what did you say, 75%? 70%. You know, so my recommendation, and if people don't know how to get Bitcoin, come and see me. I'll show you how to, easy. If you want to know how Bitcoin works, see Dan. If you want to know how to work Bitcoin, see me. Two different things. Right? Yes.
Hi,
Mate.
Ron. Thanks
Mate.
for the talk.
Hi, mate.
Argawood. How long does it take for these trees to grow? Do you know?
I don't. I know it's a 7-year. It's a 7-year plan, so it takes the trees 7 years to grow.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
That's it, 7 years.
Before it's harvested.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, that's all right.
And
I just wondered if I invested in it, whether I was going to be dead before the tree.
Well,
had
look,
grown up.
that's a good point. Now, one of the reasons I like it is because I've got children, so I see that as a little investment plan for my children. You know, I mean, hopefully I'm still no, I've set my limit at 89. 89, I say goodbye to everybody. You know, so I'm still around till then. All right, sorry about that. You know, you've got to suffer me for a few more years, but that's what I've got in mind, my children.
Ah.
In my mind, it's an ideal plan for my children. And I can go and check on it. I've only got to drive to Sriracha and check on the plantation. Very easy. If you want to know more, I'll give you the link. You know,
If I dare mention it, this plantations company did a speak at the other expats club
Yes.
not too long ago.
yeah, they did. Yeah.
I was sceptical because I didn't like the guy that was presented it.
Yeah, look, have a look. And if you can get rid of your skepticism, have a go. If not, doesn't matter. You know, but in my mind, it just made sense. It made sense. You know, a lot of these other ones, there's no. You can go to Sriracha, tap on a tree. You can buy a tree and hang your name on it. It's your tree.
Ah,
You know?
okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. All right, done. No, done. Okay, last thing. Last thing. Give me a clap.
Give a clap.
Just to give you a little certificate of appreciation as thank you for your talk. You've got a damp patch on the wall, you can put it on it. Okay, thank you very much, Ron.